Evening, Benny.
Good evening.
Howdy.
It's going to be a bit hectic.
Yeah, so Benny, I've been on a call for about maybe 3 hours already.
Jesus.
These guys, they just jump on the call about, after we delayed the announcement for a bit and everyone got bored and everyone just said, hey, let's jump on the call and talk crap about Pete. So that's what they did.
Jesus. Look at Apprentice is already at it, Benny. So what's Kogs? Yeah.
Let me just steamroll him a bit.
It's gonna get a bit crazy, guys, because I just did an NFT. I don't know what you want to call it, a conference thing, and while I was doing that, we had a number of people messaging asking how much the buildings are going for and companies that want to move in there. So it's going to be very, very interesting. You listened? Yeah, I was a bit distracted, obviously, because the channels were going bananas. So
so Benny, people here were telling me that Benny's in the interview, but he's also texting on Telegram.
Yeah. I'm always multitasking. You saw me looking down. Yeah, I was looking down the whole time. Okay, so you probably answered everything, Pete. I'm not needed. Just call it a night and go home, eh?
Yeah, there's one question that I couldn't answer. Is the streaming and cashback app on virtual space?
Yeah. Yes. So all of our ventures plug in. So how will the virtual streaming cashback app integrate? There's a number of different ways that it can happen. So ultimately, we're going to do some cool stuff with some of the shops. We've got some very, very cool ideas. Some of it we can talk about now. Some of it we want to roll out as we go. As you know, we like to roll things out slowly. But the reason we do that is because A, we need to make sure that we can technically deliver stuff, and B, we need to also make sure that we protect our ideas. As all of you guys have been witnessing of late, you said, how have you sat on some of the announcements that we've had? This one, tying it all in together, I think it's pretty obvious that we've been sitting on a lot of stuff for a long time, and it's been very, very hard to contain ourselves. And that's why when I come on here, Pete smacks me across the head and says, keeps me in line and make sure I don't give away too much.
So Benny, people on the Telegram group are telling me things that is going on in Telegram group, right? It says, "Oh, Benny said this in the Telegram group." I'm like, "Oh, dang it! I cannot mute him on Telegram."
Sorry, yeah, I should have stopped.
Yeah.
The thing I want to say, and we've built a great community, and we've done that because we've interacted and we've made sure that we keep people up to date with what's going on, and it's a lot to balance, obviously, but what I really feel like, and I have to use all my might and all my power, because it's very, very difficult to get all of this coordinated and the messaging out and everything right and all the players in line and the pieces come together. And this has been 3 years of work. And then, but what I really want to do from a non-customer experience perspective is just say, read the pinned message or just read the damn white paper. That's why we spent all that time putting it together. But we keep getting the same questions over and over and over and over again. So, okay, let's answer some of these for you. That's what I'm here for, okay? So I will answer all your questions. I'm speechless. Great work. Question 1, on Uniswap LP, we gain or lose ETH RFOX. If we go into LP on Binance chain, will this mean we lose or gain RFOX vFOX, correct? So here's what I always say. If you don't understand how liquidity pools work and the mining side of things works, I don't want you to do it based on the fact that it's money and it's your hard earned and you want to do well. But here's how it generally works for those who don't understand. I'll give you a quick breakdown very quickly how it works, and this is it. If the price of RFOX goes up, you have less of it because it is coming out of the pool. So a lot of people that have been following us for a long time thought that they would help and get some fees and all the rest of it in Uniswap, and the price went from 1.5 cents to 30 cents, and they're saying, I don't have much RFOX left. That's how impermanent loss works. Now, if ETH goes on a massive tear, then what will happen is people start selling RFOX for ETH, and then there's more RFOX in the pool, and then it balances again. So you just need to understand that there is impermanent loss. But in the beginning, if you want to get your hands on vFOX, you don't have to just go into the liquidity pool, because there's a swapping tool, much like on Uniswap, and PancakeSwaps is very similar. I think it's better because there's no gas fees. Well, gas fees are very low compared to what they are on the Uniswap side. That's why, you know, not to digress, but you have a look at the value of PancakeSwap, the price of their token compared to Uniswap. They've both got the exact same amount locked, and they're almost doing the same volumes. It doesn't take Einstein to work out what's going to happen there. But anyway, what you can do is you can go straight into the pool and you can buy vFOX, because as soon as we establish the liquidity pool in the beginning, that means that there is vFOX to be bought. So you can just go in there and buy it if you like. You don't have to stake, and you don't have to lose your RFOX or diminish RFOX. But I think what you'll find, and I shouldn't be telling you this, but I always get in trouble because I just say what I think. But I think what's going to happen is if you go into the liquidity pool, you're going to gain RFOX. And the reason you're going to gain RFOX is because there's 21 million only of these vFOX. So what's going to happen is we're going to start off at 2 to 1. So 2 vFOX we're going to put in the pool for every 1 RFOX we put in, which means that they're going to be starting off at half the price of an RFOX, right? Now, that's not going to last because of the 21 million. So there's all sorts of wild projections on what people think it'll be worth. But as people are trying to desperately buy the vFOX so that they've got some vFOX to add to some RFOX to stake, to put into the liquidity pool, that means that they're going to be putting RFOX into the pool, which means that if you put RFOX vFOX into the pool, you're going to end up gaining RFOX, at least in the first part. Will you be able to change vFOX for RFOX or some other ERC20 token? The RFOX that you're using on the Binance chain is actually a Binance version of RFOX. So effectively, you're sending your ERC20 across. Similar in function or look to what you do when you go to the loopring pool on a second layer. So you're effectively, there is an equal number of the RFOX on both sides, and when you send through a bridge, it locks it up on one side so that the amount is always going to be 2 billion. Once 5 months pass, and funds go into 12 months lockdown, does lock go for input funds for vFOX? The 12 months lockdown is just for our liquidity pool from the beginning, meaning that we're not going to pull the 2 million tokens out on you and dump on you or anything like that. We're actually going to we're actually burning what we make, but we just want to show you that there's not 2 million that enter the market straight after the 5 months is over. Should we hold our Koggus? Yeah, of course. Good Lord, of course. Just trying to get my head around the numbers. With 21 million total vFOX available and vFOX holders earning 1% of the total transaction, this would be a return of $1 per vFOX held for every 2.1 billion in transactions. What are you talking about, Willis? So with that, Degen, here's how it will work. You'll get the 1% per token, but you will also get, that includes, so when we roll out on the local levels like Philippines and Vietnam, and people say, why do you need local level if you've got a overarching? Hey, Pete, someone's mic's a lot of feedback. I'm not sure if it's yours, but someone's got a lot of feedback.
No, I'm muted the whole time. So let me find out who's not muted. XP, yeah. Can you mute your mic? I think I saw your name was lit up.
So just trying to get my head around the numbers. Okay, so it is 1% shared amongst. Yes, that's correct. Not all people will claim, and I'll explain that as we go on. I don't want to get people too lost too early, but some people will decide not to claim. You have to go through a process, which is very simple, but effectively what you'll do is you'll take the vFOX and you'll stake or you'll lock the vFOX up, and that will give you the your entitlement. And the reason you have to lock it up for a period of time or a small period of time is because of the fact that unless you do some sort of a work or effort or something, then it's classed as a security, obviously. So $1 for the $2.1 billion of transactions per token. Think about it this way. What's going to happen is you're going to get revenue from all of the sales on all of the local levels. Now, just again, I'll touch on that one, and I might be answering some of these questions in the future as well. But for example, let's say that we open up the virtual space in Malaysia, where lovely Pete's from. What that means is that the reason we do that at a local level, not just global as well, is because then we can start selling physical items, meaning you can walk into a food court, order a hamburger, and it gets delivered to your doorstep. And what we're already playing around with, we've already had the idea pitched to us that you can actually use Sky Kitchens or Cloud Kitchens. If you've never heard of those, they're effectively restaurants that are run by people that's not a public restaurant. So you can actually then get cool stuff, like you can get designer burgers and all sorts of stuff that's only available through the virtual space, which is kind of cool. But being a holder of the vFOX token, all of the future land sales in all of the different countries, including rent, contracts, transactions, everything, you're getting 1% of every of those worlds. A two ECT scenario will happen. I don't know what that means. We're not going to be selling a token that buys bulk land, so that's not going to, in that sense it won't. W1 is the only account that will ever complete a royal ultra rare foil set. Okay, what's the initial price of vFOX? Half the price of whatever RFOX is when the pool goes live. That's the only answer I can give you, but it is exact. If we have BNB, will we have the ability to swap BNB or token on Binance chain for RFOX, or only way to push RFOX to the BSC side? So technically, XP, how it works in all of those pools is you use these things called hops, which means that if you've got BNB and you want to swap it into RFOX, if you want to swap it into, say, vFOX, it would go through the RFOX vFOX pool. So you're actually swapping vFOX for BNB for RFOX, and then RFOX into vFOX. 31.6, is it? I haven't checked. I will part with the correct equivalent. How will RFOX power it all in the background? Oh, that's a good question, R2. Using an example, if someone uses fiat to purchase $100 worth of items, how will this flow into RFOX in the background? That $100 will get converted into RFOX and then settle. So everything exactly the same as what I just explained with, like, if you're using BNB to buy a vFOX, it would go through RFOX because the pool is vFOX RFOX. So $100 gets handed over the counter. Effectively, it's getting converted into RFOX. So does that make sense? Can we buy vFOX with RFOX to get ready for the pool? Yes, you will be able to, Gralek. Correct. And when can we buy the vFOX? So don't buy anything until we tell you. If it doesn't come out of our mouths, it's not happening. Don't buy anything until we tell you it goes live and it's official, because people will for sure try and have scam coins and all the rest of it. Yes, LSOO. Yes, we're looking at doing RFOX. BSC pancake swap. And the reason we look at doing it in RFOX, we just had to wait for the legal tick off. The reason we look at doing it in RFOX is for the very obvious reason that there's going to be continual buy and sell balanced pressure for RFOX, which means huge transactional volumes. And what we want to do is, once we actually collect that fee, we want to be buying RFOX with that fee. And we also have some mechanisms that will take a lot of the supply of RFOX out of the market, a lot. So you've got the burns and you're going to have a lot of locks. And obviously, for those who don't know, some of you do, some of you are sitting here going, yeah, I know all this stuff. If you do, I apologize. But then think about it this way. Sorry, I got distracted with that last question. BSC pancakes. Yeah, so I forget what I was saying. Couple of months. When is it? The land sale is going to be. It's on the roadmap. It's about 8 to 10 weeks away. We might be able to do it quicker, hopefully. But the farming will start sooner than that. It'll start before the end of next month. 2ECT was worth 30,000 RFOX per 2ETC. If I put in the liquidity pool and the 2ETC went from down to there per 2ECT, you would then get more RFOX as the value. 2ECT goes down, the same will happen to vFOX. It completely depends. And I mean, I guess the thing is, the reason you get 2ECT is to be able to have a guaranteed allocation on a number of packs. And if the packs are appreciating in value, you're talking about two fluctuating price-based assets. So yes, there's always going to be fluctuations there. What will happen with vFOX inevitably is, as most of you will be able to comment, the liquidity pools in the beginning, it'll be scarce. You'll need some to lock away to start getting the yield. So the price of the vFOX will skyrocket very quickly, and then it might start to come back down again once people start getting their payouts and converting those. But what we've stated very clearly is that because we're providing the initial liquidity and then we turn the pool on and the yield, we will be getting a lot of the yield at the beginning, because people have to then put their own LP tokens in there to start getting a yield, and that's good. The longer we get more, that's very, very good for RFOX holders, because that means that we're burning more and more and more, because we're converting it all back into RFOX and burning it every single bit. Is it foolish not to farm for vFOX? Phantom, that is a bloody good question. That's the $1 million question. You know that we've always provided many different ways of doing things, and it's always thrown up the question of what do I do? Do I stake? Do I not stake? Do I buy? Do I sell? Do I? The game theory on this one is going to be massive, and everybody I speak to, and we haven't announced this until tonight, so I've only spoken to a few people, but they are very astute people like your Novogratz types. They've all got their own theories on what they think will happen. I personally, I would want some. I would want some, purely because we don't know. I'm sure there'll be a video about how we'll be farming for vFOX. Yeah, we'll show you. There will be videos and publications and all the rest of it, Simba. But what we are saying to people is, if you don't understand how to do the mining side of things, then I would steer clear, because I don't want people to be in a situation where they say, I don't understand it and I'm worse off than I was before, or better off, or I don't understand what I've done. I don't understand what I'm doing. We've got a really passionate, amazing, supportive community, and there will be heaps of people that are helping you. And we've got ambassadors as well that we're scaling up, and those people will try and help for sure and certain. But ultimately speaking, it's a whole big thing to get your head around, this whole DeFi side of things. Oh, that's what I was going to say to you before. Because we will go into that and have a farm, we will have total value locked, meaning locked RFOX tokens and locked away value. So we will now start to feature on the DeFi indexes as well. And we've got some cool stuff coming. And people have been asking me tonight, what will happen after 5 months when all the vFOX comes out? That's cool that we've got staking for RFOX for a while and we can earn some rewards, but what happens after 5 months when they stop coming out? Don't worry, we've got lots coming, and we already had 6 projects weeks ago when we first started fishing around for how to get the technical parts done. 6 projects, as a result of us speaking to one, said, we want to start locking up our tokens against RFOX once you guys go over there. Because don't forget, a lot of these farming projects that start up are anonymous teams. And there's lots of rug pulls and stuff like that. So for an established team with an established product to go across and put their name on something gives people a lot more peace of mind. And as a result, other projects want to now partner with us to do locked liquidity mining and farming. So I think you're going to see a lot of RFOX locked up for a long time, which is really, really good news, and a chance for all of us RFOX holders to be able to earn other tokens in other projects that want to work with us. When can we stake RFOX and in what do we get paid? Sorry, I might have missed this. Donnie, it's vFOX. So you'll be able to stake 2 weeks after it starts. That's all in the white paper. So 2 weeks after the farming starts, you'll be able to start staking your RFOX. You'll also be able to stake vFOX for more vFOX. vFOX is the only thing that's being paid out. We're not paying out RFOX for staking or for the liquidity pools. So vFOX. And for those of you who know how these types of things work, the liquidity providers will get a higher return than the stakers. They're carrying the risk and they're providing the liquidity. We're doing ours slightly differently to the way that normal yield farms work. So a normal yield farm will tell you like 8,300% APY or 290% APR. Ours is going to be a set number per week. So you will know exactly what the pool is going to spit out every week, and it will be divided amongst your holding. Where will the secondary market be held for land and shops? Yep, we'll announce that shortly. A walkthrough video would be appreciated. First 4 weeks we'll farm 14 million, work the numbers. Yep, get in early. That's the way to go for sure. If we are yield farming the vFOX or staking it in a pool, will that still net us a percentage of the fees, even though it's not in our custody? That's why XP, the payouts will not start until the yield stops, the yield farming stops after 5 months. That's why we want to get the whole circulation into people's hands by 5 months, because a lot of people say, why don't you do a tokenomic structure that's like 360 years, like Curve or something, and make it so that we can stake forever. What we want is we want the supply to be in people's hands. We don't want anybody thinking, hey, a whole heap's going to come out and everyone's going to dump on us and all the rest of it. We want it in your hands and we want it in your control by the time we start paying out these returns. Will the Kog vending machines sell newly minted Kogs only? They'll sell, at this stage, we want them to sell tubes and packs. But we can also do special editions and we can do other stuff as well, but I'll let Ads and Co tell you about that. 60% of total vFOX supply will be farmed in the first month. 5, 4, 3, 8, 12. Yep, roughly. Yep. It's pretty cool, huh? Who's going to hold your hands in? But I'm telling you what, it's a slippery slope. Most of these questions are in relation to the rewards and farming and stuff, which I would have assumed would have been the case. Any word on Novogratz's current interest? His interest is, what do I say, Pete? His interest has gone up 10x. Yes, he will be promoting like he did with Luna, correct. Yes. He thinks we're at the same stage as they were when he started to really promote them. I think it's pretty exciting. He's made no secret about the fact that he is interested in getting much more involved. Normally, I like to just buy the token when on market, but I feel I might have to farm it. Yep. Bridge Virgin here. Many Bridge Virgins, Donnie. Most people are. If we provide RFOX vFOX, there's still impairment loss? Yes, correct. Have you any sneak peek screenshots of the virtual space throwing around buzzwords like Marvel and specific graphics type sounds great. Have you gone onto the site, mate? Because on the site there is a demo mock-up of one of the buildings, and by the middle of next month you'll be able to see the whole thing. What examples of benefits would plot holders earn from ownership? So CCRY, the ability to own a shop, and you can either sell stuff from it yourself or you can actually rent it out. It's actually the same as asking what benefit does a person have from owning a butcher shop. Same type of thing. You own the land, you own the shop, you own the ability to earn an income or to rent it. When or how can I be a quartermaster? So in the beginning, we're going to have a voting process. So we're going to let you know how to go through that process shortly, because we want to get quartermasters involved as soon as possible. Once in, it will not be voting anymore, and it will not be governance anymore. It will be based on set KPIs, so key performance indicators. And those indicators will be around, are you servicing the clients? Are you helping them with rent price control? Are you helping them with payment providers and setting their stock shops up? And are you getting sales through? Because ultimately, the vFOX holders, they want sales, right? Because they're getting a percentage. And the RFOX holders, they want sales because when we release the virtual spaces at the local level, they want the plots to go for a high amount because they also get a percentage of that. And that's good for RFOX holders because that means that these people have to buy a lot of RFOX to be able to buy the plots. So that's how it will go. When do you expect further partnerships regarding the virtual space to be announced? We're working on them now, Zadik. We've got a few really big clients. What we think, due to Brian Koo coming on board and his associations and all the rest of it, I think his view is that we'll have to have an application process because we're only looking at giving away 8, so 2 in each quarter, to big marquee brands that can bring in traffic, and they'll do a lot of advertising and marketing for the space. But what we think is that we're going to get around 20 or so, by his estimations, that are very interested in having a space. And so we're going to have to go through an application process to sort of say, what do you think you can bring to the table? Do you think you can bring in lots of traffic, and what will you add to the space and all the rest of it? Simba, either way, following you to top 30, Benny. Well, I'll tell you what, people keep saying you need a listing and all the rest of it. Once this actually starts and the yield farming starts, we won't need much, will we? As a newcomer, what's the best way to get involved here? Simple as buying some RFOX. Kilo, I tell you what, we've created a bit of a monster in that sense. There are so many ways to get involved, and that's what we've tried to do. We've tried to be to have something for everybody, but RFOX is pretty much all roads lead through and to RFOX. If a person buys a shop and doesn't use it, can it be taken from them? That's a good question, Phantom. So we're just coming up with the rules for that now as far as when they'll be published. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be making sure that you understand how all of that works before you go into the sale. And just for those who have just joined or don't understand how the sale works, it's $5,000 of RFOX as a minimum bid. 72 hours will be the period. Whichever is the highest will, and you're bidding on actual individual blocks, not just on any block. So you'll choose your blocks and you can bid. Can we buy vFOX after the farm only? No, as soon as the farming starts, that means there's a pool set up, which means that you can go in and use a swapping tool and buy it straight away. My missus even got excited watching that video earlier, and she hasn't got a clue about crypto or NFTs. I'll tell you what, Adelaide, I've got some of my mates who are really close mates of mine have never really followed what we've been doing, and they're asking me today, you know, you said you've got an announcement coming this week. What is it? What time does it drop? Should I buy more and stuff? And I say, this is great that you're asking all these questions, but follow us through our proper channels. But everybody's getting involved and interested now, which is great. Given that the 21 million RFOX will be in circulation after the 5 months, the vFOX you can earn later from staking is then market bought, then from the RFOX. No, so R2, you're staking and liquidity mining that 21 million only for 5 months. That's the maximum supply. There is not any more out. Now we've got 2 options. We've got 2 options, and we haven't communicated this yet. We can either take the 2 million that we've put into the liquidity pool in the beginning, and we can burn that as soon as the 12-month lock comes up, because we didn't pay for that, obviously. The second thing that we can do, and this can be something that we talk to the community about and depends on the price and all the rest of it. Second thing we can do is put that 2 million up for further staking and rewards. So once vFOX Farm launches in April, we will be able to add our farming positions once Tube rewards unlock. You sure could. What are the voters in the voting process to select those Quartermasters? We'll explain that shortly. Democracy Warrior, we want to escape this manipulation that happens in a lot of these governance models. So we want to make it that you get in, but once you get in, you've got to work your ass off. Some people have done some basic math on what they think a Quartermaster will be paid. If you're interested in that, I know I'm a few minutes behind, but if you're interested in what you think Quartermasters will get paid or some more about the jobs, I'm happy to tell you about that as well. What does the V in vFOX stand for? That's a surprise. Democracy Warrior will give you the answer very shortly. Most people are guessing it either stands for virtual or something else. Has everybody seen a picture of the mock-up building?
Yeah, so Benny, I conveniently forgot to tell them that there was a picture of the mock-up building.
So people haven't seen it?
They've seen it, they just didn't know what it was.
Phantom, interesting you say that because somehow they've got cake on an ETH. So they've got cake on their on CoinSpot, which is PancakeSwap is a BSC-based token, and they've got BNB. So it is possible. We're also speaking to Liquid as well about doing some sort of integration, which would basically mean that you could buy everything with Visa cards and credit cards and all the rest of it, and it would just behind the scenes, it would just convert it into RFOX. $5,000 US worth of RFOX per block of land. The way you explained it, it was 80% clear. $5,000 US worth of RFOX is the minimum reserve for the block of land. That's the minimum. The projections.
Yeah, so it is an auction, and the minimum reserve is 5,000. So it can go for 10,000, 50,000, 100,000. The sky's the limit.
Well, actually, people are getting a little bit. There's a lot of game theory again. A lot of people are saying, "What's it going to go for? Is it going to be high? Is it going to be low? Am I going to be costed out?" I don't know the answer to that. I've got absolutely no idea. And a month is a long time in the world of crypto. If it goes live today, then I think these places would go for horrendous amounts of money. But if it goes live in a month, who knows what happens in the space? But I think, I've had wild projections. Some people have said that they think they'll go for $10,000 each, but that was like someone who's new to the crypto space, let's say. But the big boys, the guys who know what they're talking about from the VC funds and stuff, are saying that they predict that they could go upwards of 500,000, but I've got absolutely no idea. But the reason that there's such wild speculation or swings in estimations is because there is such a limited amount of these shops. Are there any limitations to shops, entertainment, gambling? How we do it, we'll explain that closer to the time. So the answer to that is yes and no. You have 4 themed quarters, and the 4th quarter is open for any type of style of business. The only thing that I can't answer for you is because people can buy it and then start up their own business in the space, they're responsible for their offering. The only thing that I can't answer is, will we be allowed to include, how will we include that part of the component in the payout if it is for example, a casino, and let's just say it's illegal for gambling, online gambling, and all the rest of it in a particular country. So that's the question I have to get clarified is around that. But apparently, we can do it. It's just a matter of how we position it. What platform is the virtual land coming out on, and is it going to be on an Oculus headset? Great question, Face. So we're already looking at potential partners that we can work with for the AR, VR, AI side of stuff, and the platform that it's going to be built on is majority of it is not. It's not on a blockchain. So it'll be used, built using traditional and legacy systems, and the company that we're working with use the same types of technologies as gaming companies. So the blockchain will be the integration to it for payments and contracts and all the rest of it. But yes, we're looking at integrating lots of different technology like that. What platform will liquidity pool farm be on for vFOX, RFOX, i.e. PancakeSwap? Yes, PancakeSwap, it'll be run through there, but on our own site. Virtual, yeah. Can you set up a virtual wedding hall? Of course you can. You can do whatever the hell you like. The whole idea of this of what we're building is for it to be collaborative. And what we've talked about with our NFT platform, which is coming out, is making sure that we are open to the collaborative approach, and we want people to come in to create and design and work together. Good question. CC, I've told you since day one the RFOX 2020 token is going to be special. That's all I'm telling you. It's going to be special. Either one would be great. Hi, would you be prepared to comment on 2 coming top exchanges? No. No. Both of them are classed as top exchanges. I honestly believe the route that we're going down and what we're actually building negates the need for them long term. I think, as I've explained, I think centralized exchanges are dead men walking, honestly. And I think, to be honest, let's face it, guys, everybody's sick and tired of tokens with no utility and NFTs even with no utility. So ultimately speaking, you better get a utility behind what you're investing in, because they're going to have to stand up on their own 2 feet pretty soon. And that's what we've had in mind since day one. So if there's a real use case for our token and people want to use it and people want to interact, then they should be buying it for that reason, not some sort of fake order books on a fake exchange. Where is the RFOX headquarters with the rockets keeping it suspended in the air? XP, that's still a work in progress. We've been much more focused on our own space, but you're referring to the lot we've got in Decentraland. That's still going ahead. Huge news, yeah, it is. It's really, really big news. In actual fact, tapped in, it's extremely difficult. I reckon it's taken 3 weeks for me to work out how do we actually explain this in one announcement. And as you can see with all the questions there, we tried to do it over the course of the last 5 or 6 weeks with a series of announcement breadcrumbs, how it ties together. And a couple of people turned around and said, why are you doing it like that? Why are you doing it in breadcrumbs? Why can't you just do it in one big announcement and just let us know what's going on? This is the end announcement for the first time. And obviously there's lots more info to come. And this alone, we couldn't work out how to put it into a blog. We couldn't work out how to put it into one simple video. And as you can see, there's going to be videos and blogs and stuff coming out on the actual sale, how the vFOX token works, liquidity mining, how it fits into the ecosystem. There's like so much stuff going on that it's just crazy. But what I will say is, I think it's fair to say that we've got as much going on as any project in the space at the moment, as far as development, building, everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Benny, just to add a bit to that, right? I mean, the thing is, we're trying to put as much information out there for people to be able to fully understand before they participate in. But myself just discovering the DeFi world and all that, I noticed that there are a lot of projects who don't even have explanations like this. Maybe one Medium article that doesn't tell you much, and they expect you to go figure it out as you go. And then when you lose tokens due to LP and impermanent loss and all that, then they just ignore you and whatnot. And I've seen that in a lot of communities. They don't explain it. So I think what we're doing is a lot better, and plus also we're not anonymous, right? Everyone knows us.
Exactly. And Pete's right, and it is mind-numbing to think. And like just on that, because I said the word marvel in the interview, and a couple of people have been asking me about that. I'll tell you the story quite openly. We looked around for a long time for people that could build this, because this has been a year or so in the making, and I've gone through like tens of different design companies, all of varying quality, and this one stood out by an absolute mile. And it was really hard to get them engaged. And then there were some problems with the platform provider that they were using, which would have been passed on to our users. And they've worked out how to bypass all of that. And he really liked the project, and we really liked them. So we started working with them, and then he was sort of showing that to his friends of what he was building, and they came along and said, "Holy crap, this is an amazing idea." And then that's how the Marvel link comes in. Someone who's working on Marvel currently got interested and involved, and now he's bringing in other people, and everybody that sees it wants to get involved. It goes so many layers deep. It is just phenomenal. And what we said was we don't want to be like the others. I'm not going to name their names, but we don't want to have crappy graphics, or we don't want to have loading problems, or we don't want to have buffering issues. So can we just build this properly and not build it on a blockchain? Can we just make sure that the technology that's already been around for 2 decades, can we just like use the very best technology there is, and then just integrate blockchain where we need to and have to, and where it can actually add benefit, rather than just trying to put blockchain in there for the sake of putting blockchain in there? It makes no sense. So yes, but look, Wade's broken it down. Awesome virtual space coming where people can sell digital NFTs and eventually real world items. World-class design team working on it. Bridge to Binance Smart Chain. That's huge in itself, guys. The mind-blowing thing about this whole announcement is each of these parts is an announcement on their own. So yes, and we're already under the nose of CZ. He's fully aware of what we're doing. RFOX utility, absolutely. vFOX, you'll earn 1%. RedFOX Labs will convert all of the vFOX that we get into RFOX and burn it. KOGs, RFOX games, RFOX media, streaming cashback platform, NFT platform, all plugged into the virtual space. Good lordy lord. RFOX utility, need RFOX to buy the land. So do your math. If you think, let's have a little bit of a quiz. Maybe we'll do a prize for that. Why don't we do that, Pete? There's a few people here, right? How many people we've got here?
Yeah, quite a bit. A lot.
All right.
Actually, a very lot. Like, I think this is the biggest turnout.
All right,
ever.
one guess each. One guess each. US dollar value, not RFOX value. What will the average price of the land? So the average price of the blocks of land, what will be the average price in US dollars? Closest one. What's the prize going to be, Pete? I want to give away something good.
We're saying maximum? Is that the maximum price for the land?
No. The average price.
Oh, average. Okay.
Average.
Divided.
So if someone can guess what the average price is for the land, closest one, I'll give I'll check if we've got any 2020 cogs left. We might have one. If we don't have one, then I'll give away something.
Yeah, we have a few left, Benny. We can give away one.
All right, we'll give away
Let's
one.
give away one. Let's give away one. RFOX 2020.
They're going for $5.5 grand or something each at the moment, if you can get them. So we'll give away one for the closest guess. All right. So now.
Yeah, I will copy this, and I'll compile a list, and we can publish it out somewhere.
Yep. You can Democracy Warrior. You can use multiple wallets. People will do that. Let's be big boys and adults here. That's what's going to happen. Are there limits to what people can sell in these shops? What if people started selling items that are shady? Phantom, that's why there's Quartermasters. Anything that does any damage to the Quartermasters' ability to be able to earn revenue or get things shut down or whatever, that's why we want to make them the kind of help desk / policeman at the same time. Because don't forget, we've got big brands coming in here, so you don't really want like some sort of I don't want to be crass, but yeah, you don't want an unsavory shop next to someone who's yeah. Yes, that's correct. Ford Perfect. Project Melody Dancing Club, more worthwhile to remove from uni liquidity pool to use RFOX vFOX? I don't know. I can't answer those questions for you because the fact is we've proven beyond the shadow of doubt we've got no idea.
Yeah, so let me put in some rules. You only get one guess. If you guess twice, I'm going to take the first guess. I'm going to ignore any other guesses that you have, so
you
that
should be harder than that.
you.
You should say you put in a second guess, you get disqualified.
Oh, I'm nice, Benny. I'm nice.
Is there going to be an audit for safety or a hackathon to find exploits in this stuff, or already covered? I don't know how it works. So just wondering. Of course, they're going to be audited, Phantom, and we're using battle-tested contracts that have been used by multiple other projects that have done staking and liquidity providing and all the rest of it. But yes, we're going to get them all audited by a Hacken. Is the agnostic RFOX marketplace in the virtual land, or is it an independent organism? XP, that's going to be the engine. That's going to be the engine. I'll save that for another announcement, but effectively, that is our engine, because don't forget, it is agnostic. So that means that all these shops might want to sell different stuff on different platforms. Well, guess what? Guess where they're going to go through. So RedFOX Labs, no, not Marvel Connections. We're saying that someone who works on Marvel is also working on our block of land. We've got connections with some pretty big players. It's just a matter of trying to seal them, which one would have been, which one's best. 50,000, 88,000, 95,000, 25,000, 22,500, 100, 180. Okay, so I'm reading all of those. Here's the question. Here's the question. Times whatever you think it's going to be by 100, and that is how much RFOX has to be bought prior to the sale. If only one person was to bid on each block and to be successful, plus all the other people that are going to buy RFOX and potentially have a crack at a block and then say, I didn't get it. So then that's why it's important that we say, well, seeing though you bought your RFOX and you wanted to buy a block of land and you couldn't get one, here's some other offers for you, and here's a chance for you to stake that. And so you do the math, and I think you probably get a picture.
So you have to have the RFOX to be able to bid before you can bid.
Correct. So you can just imagine what that flow-on, knock-on effect is, and just imagine if it was, I don't know, you do the math. I'm not going to make the numbers up, but what?
Okay, so
people bidding on each block. There you go.
Yeah, so I am copying all of this down right now, and the bidding. I mean, the number starts with Wade's post with 50,000. I'm going to copy it all the way down. If you don't have your guesses in within the next 5 seconds, sorry, and I'll put all of this in a sheet, and that will be final. And then we will circle back to these numbers after the sale.
So add on 2 zeros to whatever your guess is, because that's 100, and that's, as I say, only if one person bid on each block and was successful. So you imagine how many people will bid, and therefore how much RFOX will be needed. Thank you, Tapped In, regarding the messaging and all the rest of it. Yes, we've been working for approximately 3 to 5 weeks. I forget, I'm terrible with time. 3 to 5 weeks we've been working with outside PR firms that specialize in real world marketing. So we've tried to avoid, as you have all been acutely aware of. So a few things we were criticized for in the beginning was not employing enough shillers and influencers and all the rest of it. But I think you now understand the route that we were taking. We got criticized for not being on major exchanges either. But the fact is, none of you would have been able to buy in or be able to get good positions if we had of earlier as well. And the thing is that we would have had to use very valuable dollars that we needed to build products and services with. And as a result of making the decisions and going down the track that we did, all of those projects that launched at around the same time as us that were considered to be very promising projects and had a higher profile, most of them aren't around anymore. So we've definitely done things the right way, although it might seem a bit weird the way we've tackled things. You've got to understand that we've been around the block, we know what we're doing, and we think very carefully about all these decisions that we make. So as I've said since day one, for those who weren't around, this is a long game. RFOX is building something very serious, very big, and it doesn't happen just at a click of the fingers. So for those who have long suffered and been supporters of ours since the beginning, they're very happy people, obviously, but they had some pretty dark days. So I would say we're still a long way. We're just learning how to crawl. We haven't even started. It's going to be massive. $1 billion. 1% goes back to exactly right, XP. And then if it's successful, which it will be, and then we start saying, okay, we're doing this in the Philippines now, and we start getting more marquee brands on and all the rest of it, that means you're getting 1% of all of those sales. And every time they resell it, 1%. Every transaction that goes through, 1%. Every billboard advertising space, 1%.
Yeah, so guys,
Yeah,
it's 1% looks small, but 1% of a very large number is, still substantial, I guess.
R2, if it is wildly successful, that makes it much more valuable. They will be able to, the only answer I can give you to a yes on that is, if the answer is no to those spaces, but the answer to us opening up outside of Southeast Asia for this type of a venture, that's something that we have to, we're open, we always say, the fact that we've been successful or got to the point that we're at is because we've been agile. Our focus and core market and audience obviously was to focus on the Southeast Asian region, but we have to be mindful of COVID's coming. That's changed the digital landscape, which has helped us tremendously from the perspective of adoption and take-up rates. But it also has meant that we've got a lot of people like yourselves who are not from the Asian region. So we haven't even tapped into the language-specific markets and audiences that we're here to cater for yet. And bearing that in mind and knowing how enthusiastic you guys are to get involved and to really sort of to be part of this, it would be reminiscent of us to be saying that we roll all of that out. We've already got people that have come to us and said, can I roll this out in America and Europe and all the rest of it? So yes. Okay, you didn't know how you ended up here, Kilo. That mango-shaped noggin of mine. Yep, Degen, it's a lot of people laughed at us. A lot of people thought we were crazy. We were just talking about it tonight. One VC that we wanted in the beginning that we talked to, they said that concept's too hard to get off the ground. You'll never get it going. And sorry, we're not interested. That makes me so happy. I'm so happy they didn't invest. If they look at the situation now, they'd be very upset. But the fact is that we're very, very, very fortunate in the sense that we didn't have people controlling us, and we don't have people telling us what to do. And that's why we're able to build stuff like we're building, because who in their right mind, shareholders are going to be saying profits, ramp out products that are, high margin and just be safe. We get to do crazy stuff that we know is going to work, but we would never be allowed to do if we were controlled. Is there going to be multiple virtual spaces? Yes, correct. But the first one, so you might say, well, why have the first one then? The first one is global. Doesn't matter where you're from. But as I've stated, if you're opening one up in Vietnam and you want to sell fur soup to people, you can't deliver that to Norway, can you? Makes no sense. So when we get to the virtual worlds in the countries, that's going to be awesome, because people can actually get stuff from the country delivered to them like food. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, just imagine, just imagine if every country has one virtual space, or every state has one virtual space.
Oh,
right?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably a good answer to the previous question of, are you ever going to extend it? Well, to Pete's, like, India is a massive place, right? Massive. You would easily be able to accommodate one virtual space in each of the major Indian cities, because otherwise, how are you going to deliver stuff that's locally made, or restaurants or whatever? So This is where I think people like the Novogratz to sort of raise their eyebrows because they understand just the massive scope that this has. It is combining everything into one space and one space feeding into all of the ventures, and nobody actually recognized that we were doing it. We flew under the radar because we did it bit by bit by bit. It is a community project, Z-Train. We were just talking about it today. We got a bit sentimental. You guys drive us. You make us get out of bed every morning and really, really push hard every day. We absolutely love the support you've given us.
Correction, Benny. If you don't sleep, you don't get out of bed.
That's true. But Pete's a living example of that. Pete came in and said, I'm a collector from way back and I've got lots of experience in collecting and all the rest of it, and then became part of the community. We found out he had skills that were useful. We want to employ people that are passionate, and we don't see it as a job. We see it as coming in and being part of the family and part of this movement. And we have we've taken in a number of people from the community and will continue to do so because we know these people are passionate about our project. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate it, Democracy Warrior.
Hey, thanks
yes,
a lot, man.
Prentice.
I mean, that I really appreciate that statement you just did, Democracy Warrior.
That's what we strive to do. We're trying to make this as much. Someone said something today. It was probably one of the nicest pieces of feedback we've ever had. They said, a token holder is not an investor in a project. However, you make us feel like we're invested in part of the company. And that was probably the nicest piece of feedback I've ever had in my life. It was, we love it. Yes. So besides being blown away and a lot of information dumped on you, we've got a lot of people in here tonight. Is there anybody who is, no such thing as a stupid question, is there anybody who has any questions that they want us to answer? Because it's not often you get the chance to do this. So estimates for potential projected revenue generated by the virtual space, no idea, tapped in. You know what I do, to be honest, I probably try to over-deliver the quality of the space and to try and make it appealing. And we've got obviously some very, very, very good connections. I try and underestimate what it will do. And for me personally, I think of it as, well, we know for sure there's going to be shop sales. So I try and come up with a conservative figure for shop sales and then say, that's the benchmark. That's the lowest that people should be able to get back. And then I don't even factor in any of the transaction sales, high land costs, or it becoming very, very popular. So I try and be very, very conservative. But somebody did a rough estimate and said that, you know, and I've checked that it's about right. We expect that the Quartermasters, for example, if you factor in the land sales and all the rest of it, Quartermasters should, at a minimum, earn approximately 60K a year, USD. And that's if it's very crappily, that's probably the bottom end of the scale. I would expect that they would earn a ton more than that, but the workload required to maintain their quarter would be typically beyond one person. So in my mind, and I could be completely wrong, check back with me in 6 months, we're normally pretty on the money. I would assume, for example, if Pineapple Pete was a winner of a quarter, I think he'll have a little team. I think he'll end up having 3 or 4 people working for him. And then that'll be up to you guys to work out how much you're paying those people, or whether you're cutting them in, or I don't know. That's up to you guys. Can you share the name of the gaming code with 2 million users? It's actually got nearly 4 million now. I'll let Fads do that because we'll roll that out relatively soon. Yep. Ever milk a pineapple? Wow. It is a big announcement for sure. Not bad at all for the Quartermaster. Again, you do your own math. But, you know, It's very possible. Talk more on cog powers in the virtual world, or at least as much as people let you. So we've always said that if you go back to even the first video we ever did, we said cogs will allow people access rights, levels, unlock areas. We talked about areas and stuff from the beginning. So all I can tell you is that different cogs will have different powers, but also don't forget that a lot of these decisions moving forward are not in my hands anymore. We've handed over to someone much more competent at running a gaming company than myself. So I let the experts decide how deep that runs now. Two new exchanges, any idea on time frame? JB, what we always say is that that's beyond our control, that's up to them. But with one of them, I'm not allowed to say who, but I'm allowed to say what. It's tracking for next week. If all goes according to plan, and it looks like it is, it'll be the latter part of next week. I think you'll be more excited about that type of stuff than I am. I think I don't, XP, that's not for me to answer. I can't answer about that. Any blue chip already commit to buying a reserve plot? Hanford, I want to be very, very honest and clear with people. We're not selling the 8 spots that we've got reserved for marquee clients. We won't charge those 8 people for those plots. Those plots will be given to those people if they can prove that they can drive traffic, bring in awareness, and all the rest of it. But I think you need to also understand where Brian Coos come from. He was a co-founder of Gojek, Zalora, and Grab. So there's a few companies that are big companies, and his connections are huge, and he's talking to all sorts of people at the moment for us, and his view is that there will be more blue chips than there are free blocks of land, and we think some of them might try and buy in. We've already had people that are in our circles and in our connections say, can you put a block aside for me and just let me know how much I have to pay for it? And being very honest, we've said, no, we're not doing that. We're not playing any favorites. It's an open auction and it's all viewable on the blockchain. Is anything being done to market token adoption within the crypto sphere? Yes. Obviously, we've been closely aligned with Nuggets News, who's been great for our project, and we've been talking to him since the beginning of the project and all the rest of it. We've been offered non-stop package deals and groups of the big channels to promote us and all the rest of it. We kind of try to avoid paying these people ridiculous amounts of money to we'd rather just earn it, but I know that that's not what you guys want to hear, so we do try and balance it. I guess the answer to your question is we now have people coming back to us and asking us if they can, what are you going to give me if I talk about you and all the rest of it. It's unfortunate, it's the seedy nature of the industry, but ultimately people are starting to mention us without us giving them money, and they have to because they want to be known as one of the first ones that picked up on us. So definitely the attention is there where it wasn't before. So I'd expect a big uptake in the next few weeks, especially considering we're going across to Binance now. That's going to cause a lot of attention. Crypto banter? Sure. If yeah, sure. I'll go on lots and lots of different things. Like Sip, I'm not telling you. You can ask me a million times, but I'm telling you, I've told you since day one, and I cannot reiterate it strongly enough, that RFOX 2020 is an extremely special token. Extremely special. Yeah, I mean, you just got to be careful, Forward Prefect. There are an interesting lot of people. How long will this? Oh, actually, XP, I'll just be very straightforward with you. Miss Universe Global wants us to do them as well, and that would bring with it all the other countries as well. Like, I'm talking a massive, massive deal. The issue is the Miss Universe competition is in May, and our platform may not be ready in time for that, where it's a race against time for the NFT platform, and we've got some other big clients as well that we're trying to work on with. So it's a matter of balancing all of that. Where the Miss Philippine, we're a bit fortunate because there's 2 Miss Universe competitions this year, because one was cancelled from last year, so one in May and one in December. So they haven't even started finding the contestants for this year's Miss Universe. But the current Miss Philippines is about to go to Miss Universe. Reva, she's going to do a lot of PR for us and some videos for us and do some promotions for RedFOX, and we'll follow her journey to the Miss Universe competition and potentially do something with those guys as well. Are those large plot owners that are given land to drive those awareness, etc., will they be on key performance indicators and move for fixed term? Democracy Warrior, they'll be like Coke and Nike and that type of stuff. So I don't think there's much you have to give those guys, mate. They just have to prop up and just the use of their name and them being there and all the rest of it is enough to drive other big brands to come in and actually pay for lots and all the rest of it. Because let's face it, it's a competitive, all industries are competitive. You don't want your major competitor in something that's going to be the next big thing and you're not in there as well. Yep, Nuggets brought a lot of people in. About tube staking, 24-month contract with 2 million RFOX token, if I'm correct. So if 2 million got used and got empty due to more Koggers participate for staking and possibility refilled funding or two. Again, that's not my decision anymore, but I believe that that's all being worked on and if not already rolled out, about to be rolled out. But we had a 4 million allotment in the beginning and that has not all been used. I'll let the guys from the Fads and team. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder. Any chance you could please introduce us to some special V token ultra rare cogs in the 3rd edition release to commemorate the release of the new token? I will talk to the guys. What will 2 ECT be used for other than buying 2nd edition, 3rd edition cogs? I think you need to understand also that as this virtual space blows up and people start to come in and really have a look at, because what people keep saying to us is, there's so many cogs in the 2nd edition. Look at the 1st edition. They're so expensive because there's not many of them. You don't understand. We haven't scratched the surface yet of an audience or users or a crowd. Once we actually go out and start the virtual space and people actually, every single person knows who RedFOX is, then suddenly there ain't a lot of cogs from the 2nd edition, are there? So holding a token that gives you access to 30 packs, you know, I don't think it takes much brain power to work out that's going to be extremely sought after considering how few there are. No problems. You know what? Sometimes I might sound a bit short when I answer something, and it's purely just because we go at 1,000,000 miles an hour with same questions over and over and over again. I don't mean to sound patronising or anything. How would you define the governance structure of the virtual space? Is it all run on RFOX, so you guys are in charge? Our modus operandus tapped in is to provide amazing worlds that require the use of our other companies to run and are fed in and fed by the RFOX token. Beyond that, we want to focus on the customer experience. We want to focus on the actual user experience. We do not want to focus on governance, laws, rules, which new techs are introduced by the big companies and players. We're trying to make it, as we've stated before, more like a Roblox or collaborative approach where big companies can come in, introduce their technologies, work with us, and they can help decide what things come in and why and how that happens, just like real world adoption for new technology. We don't want this to be a centralized Disneyland lineup, a queue for tickets and all the rest of it. That's not how we are. As I say, what we want to do is build an interoperable, self-sustaining ecosystem and metaverse that requires the use of all of the ventures that we've released. Because that means that we're all going to be successful in holding RFOX and in the ventures that we roll out and all the rest of it. Yes, it is a unique structure. Actually, people that I've previously mentioned, I'll stop mentioning names, but people that I've previously mentioned think that the whole yield farming buyback burn to earn a token that pays dividends in a virtual space. Obviously, that's never been done before, but this will also, they believe, change the way that people will structure raises and launches going forwards. Koggus, yes, we will. We'll explain how that works. Do we have a leg in with Phillips Connections to get contracts applying NFT for World Cup 2022? I don't think we need many connections now. We're talking to all the big guys and all the big sports and all the big companies. It's a matter of whether we can seal them. Our only issue at this stage, because we are talking to some of the biggest products and brands on earth, is can we build fast enough and get it so that it actually can scale. What we don't want to do is end up like, and I know that Top Shots is tremendously successful and it's an amazing project, but they'll probably spend the next 3 years trying to work out how to make what they've already built smooth. So what we're trying to do is start off with something smooth from the beginning and then be able to offer that to multiple other people and not be like that custodial type situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Benny, when you have 250,000 people waiting in line and only 50,000 people get your product, I think inherently there's a problem there.
That's a massive problem. I'll tell you what that's called. That's called, I didn't plan to be as successful. I didn't think we could do as well as we're actually doing. Whereas people might say, it's arrogant to say that you're going to be able to take on the big boys. It's arrogant to be able to say that you're going to be a Fortune 500 company in a top 20 crypto project or whatever. But the fact is, if we didn't think that was possible, we wouldn't be here. We're not building to be mildly successful. We're building to be hugely successful. And if you haven't already worked it out, what we do is we build one showcase like Kogs, the Slammer game, and then we say, see, this is what you can do and what you can build. Now, here's the platform. Come and do it for yourself. And that way, instead of us having to fish through a whole heap of applications and work out how we allocate the resources to this particular project and then how we get the resources for the next one, we say we don't need to worry about that. Everybody's coming to us to build, and we've got a fully sustained ecosystem. So when they come in and say, hey, I need a streaming platform, we've got one. Hey, I need to advertise and market my business. We own the marketing and advertising. Hey, I need a space where I can launch it. We own a space where you can launch it. I want to build a game around my NFTs. We also own a gaming division and we can build, you've got the tools to be able to release your own games. So for those who haven't really sort of put two and two together yet, the penny should be dropping for you now and you should be understanding what it is that we're actually building. How is the blockchain agnostic? So NFT marketplace coming along. It's in the build stage now. So now we just need to make sure that it is mind-blowing and it works as well as we want it to work. So we're sticklers for making sure we get that part right. But it's in the build process now, and we need it because it actually will be the engine for the virtual space as well. CCRY, it's ridiculous if we get out of bed every morning and work as hard as we do, and we're attracting the talent we're building a team that we're building to be number two.
Yeah, so just want to add my personal take on it, right? So Benny, if you were aiming to be like a mildly successful company or a mediocre company, then there's a high chance that I wouldn't be here, right? With you guys. Correct?
100%.
So I mean, yeah. So you 100%. Sold me on that whole vision and all that, and that's why I'm here. And that's why we're having this conversation with the most wonderful community ever.
And that's the thing. The people that are on this call, for those of you who have never really interacted with us before, it's the first time or your first experience. And for those who have been around since the beginning, the reason that the people that have been here since the beginning is when we've talked about what we're going to do, they've believed us and they've said, I see the vision, I see how that could possibly happen. And then now they're seeing it all unfold. Whereas people that aren't here, or while we haven't grown as fast as some of the other projects who have spent every cent on marketing and not on actually building anything, is because we actually firmly believe that not everyone can wrap their heads around what it is that we're trying to do. We are ambitious. We are trying to build something that's probably cheeky. It's probably very cheeky. We keep getting told, even by our close friends who have done big businesses and unicorns before, they keep saying you can't do that unless you start off with like 20, 30, 50 million and a massive team, and you're going to need X, Y, and Z. So the fact that we've actually done it, now they're coming and saying, how can I work with you guys? So yeah, but it's you guys that inspire us and push us and make us move forward. And the fact that you embrace it, you ask so many questions, you try and get your heads around it. And let's be honest, people that say I'm in it for the tech, it's all about the tech for me, a lot of that's garbage. You guys want to know how you can do well out of your involvement and do well out of your investment. That's good. That's all well and good. And that's why we always cover the staking and the rewards and all the rest of it. And we talk a lot about that. But the great part about our community is you get the general gist of that. And then you say, right, can you explain the product now? Can you explain the company that you're building? Because I'm actually interested. That's how we know we're on the right track. Because you actually care about the product and how the products will actually drive the market and the value and what we're actually building. So we're extremely, extremely fortunate to be attracting the right people. No problems in answering questions. That's what we want to do. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit. It's been a long couple of weeks. I think tomorrow might have a little bit of a sleep in the morning. Thank you for being part of this awesome community. Obviously, what will drive newbies coming into the virtual space to buy Kogs? That's a great question. I'll give you one answer that will get your brain running. Let's just say that someone like Nike did come in, and Nike's, I'm not saying that Nike's coming in, I'm saying if a company like Nike comes in and they start selling virtual assets in the space, when they come into the virtual space for the first time and they start their journey, guess what the hell they're confronted with? RedFOX KOGs. First thing they see. So ultimately, we've got Kogs vending machines everywhere. The exposure that we get is massive. We get prime advertising space, we get prime real estate positioning, vending machines around the virtual space. And then by that stage, we'll have a series of games, not only built by us. In fact, the whole team firmly believes that the best games that we produce will not be built by us. They believe that it will be other companies coming in and rolling out their games and plugging Kogs into them. And I firmly believe that that's true as well. We're not supposed to be here to build the world's best company that does X, Y, Z. We're supposed to be here to build the entire gamut and ecosystem and structure for other people to be able to come in and collaborate and build and help grow and develop with us and use our stuff. Not sure, CCRY, on when it's actually scheduled to open up. We've recently begun talks with them again. It doesn't take long to actually build, but we noticed that when we knew we were going to start talking about our virtual space and all the rest of it, and still to this day, people keep saying, wow, you're building all of this in Decentraland. And we say, no, we've got our own virtual space. And they say, yeah, in Decentraland. And we thought, oh, for God's sake, it's too confusing for people. Let's just tackle one thing at a time. So now that we all know that you all know that we've got our own virtual space, I think we can probably press the accelerator for rolling something out in Decentraland now, because they're a good bunch of guys. And to be honest, I don't see us as being competitors to them in any way, shape, or form, because yes, we've both got virtual spaces and all the rest of it, but ours is much more of a showcase for our other platforms and an e-commerce and retail interactive and immersive world. It's very, very, very different. And ours is like a 2.0. It's got like NFT buildings and NFT assets, and it's very, very different. Yep, tubes will go in vending machines for sure, mate. OMC and Pat. You imagine if you're walking home one night in the virtual space, or walking around one night in the virtual space, and you walk past an old machine that looks like it's been kicked around a fair bit, and it's got this little light, and all you can see is a first edition starter pack hasn't been opened. That'd be nice. That's what I see in my head. Yeah, absolutely. Imagine how cool that's going to be. I can't wait. I can't tell you how proud we are though, guys. This is a lot of hard work, and finally you guys get to see what we've been talking about internally every day for the last 3 years. And we have to keep this stuff under our hats because we big boys can come along and build stuff very quickly. So we needed to make sure that we have all of our stuff in our ducks in a row and our systems built, and we were ready for this. It is difficult to keep it in. It's the hardest secret I've ever had to keep. A virtual party on opening day. To be honest, Tim, I would assume that there'll be something massive because we want to get all of the we want to give all of the big brands a chance to promote to their audiences the fact that it's opening as well. Yeah, Donnie, it's a really simple calculation, and it's on the it'll be explained in further detail. For example, the first week is 5 million divided by however many people are in the pool. So the calculation is the more people, the less. The less people, the more. Exactly. Depends on the portion of the pool you own. All right, I'm nearly out of batteries, guys. Have you guys got any further questions or anything that you want to know? What's the general sentiment after hearing more about it? Let's finish on that note. What do you guys want to do? Are you guys like thinking you want to buy land? Are you thinking you want to get vFOX? Are you thinking you want to stake and liquidity provide? Are you thinking I just want to sit here and just hold RFOX because it's going to be deflationary now? Or are you thinking I just want to buy KOGs? What is your strategy? Want more
all the bunch of degens are answering all of the above. Look at that.
Stake land, buy a shot plot. Oh, you know what, Face? I've already had a few people saying, can you be more specific on your timeline? Because I need to roll my KOGs, my tubes money into my pool, into my vFOX before the auction so that I can actually buy a block of land. KOGs and buy RFOX as a small player. Exactly, RT, you've learned. Buy vFOX. Buy vFOX, yep. Stake vFOX, RFOX for vFOX. Yeah, if you stake RFOX, you don't obviously suffer any impermanent loss. Whatever makes the most dollars, yep. It's interesting you say that, Crypto J. I'm not sure whether people will be priced out of it. Just on that note, the RFOX that will be used for the land sale will more than likely we'll roll out how that mechanism works. I think more people will want to do it on the Binance side for the RFOX purely because of the gas fees. Squirrel self-managed, yeah. That's yep. I know that route, DJ. Hold virtual concert in the music quarter. Yeah, I saw your song, RFOX Prince. It was very good, very good. Which option makes the most dollars? I got no idea, Apprentice. Yes, if you calculate if you stake RFOX or vFOX, again, Donnie, it's just an amount that comes out. It'll be published. There's an amount that comes out for each of the staking pools each week, and it depends what percentage you have to what you've already got. Yep, Uniswap rewards still going on. Will the value of rewards going to vFOX reflect in the future price? Of course, of course. RedFOX is my super. Yeah, this would only concern with buying land. Yep. Yeah, but look, I mean, no one knows how much they're going to go for. And there's a lot of people that said that they wouldn't be able to buy. And this was a few months ago when we first mentioned that it was going to be $5,000 worth of RFOX. A few people in here, and you know who you are, DM'd me and said, I can't do that. I won't have enough RFOX. And those people are now coming back and saying my RFOX has done a 7x. I might actually have enough RFOX now.
No, but just think about it, right? If there are 5 people, with $5,000 each, wanting to bid on, 5 buildings, right? And if they get priced out, they could, potentially just pull together, and then you have 25K, right?
Exactly.
And of course, if you get priced out 25K, then yeah, too bad, right? But then again, you've tried. At least you tried, right?
Yeah. Not cost, but afraid of being kicked off if inactive. But don't forget, Forward Prefect, you can actually rent your property out to somebody else. So you can buy the block and then just say, I don't know what to sell there. I don't want to run a shop. So just rent it and make a rental income. Alex Saunders has done a 1000x. Well, let me do the math for you guys. It was 0.002 of a cent, and then we did it 10 times. So let me put it in even more simple math for you. We had about a $400,000 market cap, and we're now 400 million market cap. What's the math on that? 10x is 4 million, 100x is 40 million, and 1000x is 400 million. So he's 100% spot on. It did do 1000x. It did 1000x so far. Yeah, I am knackered, mate. Thank you. All of our energy from the whole team's gone into this, and now that we've got that out, we've now got to deliver it. But yeah, I think we need a bit of a cup of tea and a lie down for tonight, and then back into it tomorrow. But thank you so much for taking an interest, and thank you for coming by and asking questions, guys. I hope you're as excited as we are. We are very, very, very excited to bring you the next stages and releases, and also to be drip feeding you some little sneak peeks on what the land looks like as well. So I think also there's not a lot for sale as well for RFOX. So I think not many people are selling. We've got a lot of diamond hands in here. So I think people know that liquidity is coming with exchange listings and mining and all the rest of it. I think it's not going to be any easier to get your hands on RFOX either. So yes, so it'd be very interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks. Yeah, see, she's sitting next to me at the moment, and she looks like she's about to cark it. So well done, 900x for you, RFOX Prince. That's not bad, is it? Then you got these people that have these little passbook accounts at the bank, and they go along and get a bloody stamp in a passport, and they make 2.8% a year, and they're going, it's up from 2.6. But thank you very much, guys. Thanks to Pete for sitting on here for 4 hours, and appreciate everybody joining us. Have a fantastic
4 hours
night.
is almost 6 hours for me.
Jesus
I started this thing at 6 p.m. It's midnight now.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much,
Oh, we're
guys.
still good. Thank you, Benny.
And have a fantastic night, and we will look forward to updating you over the next few days. And good luck. Be safe, trade safe, and speak to you shortly.